Hi there, welcome back. This time in DaVinci Resolve 17, we will create an animated ribbon text title, using Fusion Shape nodes and 3D nodes, and save as a title macro template for reuse in the edit page. We will go through the process step by step in detail to demonstrate the uses of different Fusion tools in DaVinci Resolve. I try to cover as much detail as possible in this tutorial, so it takes a bit longer than I expected, but you can always skip to the sections of your interests. Or you can simply download the template through the links in the description and check it out for yourself. First, we will make a ribbon using the Fusion Shape tools. From the Effects panel, drag a Fusion composition clip to the timeline and open it in the Fusion page. Go to the Effects panel and open the Shape Tools section. Add a shape rectangle and a shape render node to the editor. Connect them to the Media Out node. The shape render node is required to render the result for all shape nodes. Select the rectangle node. Go to the inspector, change width to 1 and height to 0.08. Insert a S-Boolean node after the rectangle node. Drag a shape polygon node S-Engen to the editor, and connect to the Boolean node. The default operation of the Boolean node is intersection. The result shape looks like a ribbon with triangle ends on both sides. To demonstrate more uses of the shape tools, I will make a ribbon with inwards triangle cutouts from each side. Change the operation to subtract. Select the polygon node, move the polygon to the right side. This is good. Press Ctrl+C, or right-click the polygon node to make a copy. Press Ctrl+Shift+V, or right-click the background to paste an instance of the polygon node. Insert another Boolean node after the previous Boolean node. Release the button when the line is highlighted. Set the operation mode to subtract. Connect the instance polygon node to the new Boolean node. Nothing changes, because the new instance node is at the exact position as the previous one. Select the instance node. In the inspector, right-click the X-offset parameter, choose to instance. Enter equals to modify the parameter with a simple expression. Go to the node editor, Control-click the original polygon node to add it to the selection, so that both nodes are available in the inspector. Click the Add button and drag a whip to the polygon label, wait until it expands and reveals the parameters. Continue drag the whip to the X-offset parameter, release the button. The instance node's X-offset is now linked to the original offset parameter. Add a minus sign in front of the expression, to move the shape to the left side, and made a triangle cutout. If we move the first polygon, the second one also moves, so that both ends of the ribbon are in sync. We now have the ribbon shape ready. To change the shape color, select the second Boolean node, and go to the Style tab in the inspector, change the color as required. For easy reading, rename the node to ribbon shape. Next, we will add a border to the shape. Add another Boolean node to the editor, rename to border color. Branch the output of ribbon shape and connect to both inputs of border color node. While the border color node is selected, click the S-Outline button in the Effects panel, which automatically adds a shape outline node after the border color. Merge the outline node with ribbon shape node. A shape merge node is inserted into the pipeline automatically. Select the outline node, rename it to border control. Go to the inspector, change the border style to mitre. We can also change the thickness if needed. If we want to change the border color, select the border color node. Go to the Style tab in the inspector, change the color to our liking. To help organize the node tree, we can use an Underlay Box to group all shape nodes inside one box. Select all the nodes used for creating the ribbon. Press Ctrl or Shift Space to open the tool selection window. Find and add the Underlay tool. Click in the background of the node editor to deselect all nodes selected. Alt-click the Underlay box to select only the box. Press F2 to rename the box to ribbon. If needed, we can also change the color of the Underlay box. From the toolbar, drag a text node to the editor, and merge to the Shape Render node. Select the text node, and go to the inspector, enter ribbon text. Adjust the style to fit the text in the middle of the ribbon. Alright, we now have created a ribbon with a text title. Next, we will bring it into a 3D world and transform to a 3D look ribbon. Select the Merge node, and in the toolbar, click Image Plane 3D, Merge 3D, Spotlight, and Renderer 3D buttons. Disconnect the media out from the Merge node. Reconnect to the Renderer 3D node. Turn on the Dual Viewer mode. Select the Merge 3D node, press 1, or drag it into the left viewer. Select the Renderer 3D node, enable the Lighting and Shadows option. Select the Spotlight node, go to the Transform tab in the inspector. Check the Use Target option. Go to the 3D viewer. Click this button to turn on the lighting and shadow options. Pull back the spotlight to lighten up the ribbon. And pull up the spotlight to reduce the shine on the ribbon. This is good now. Select the Merge 3D node, go to the Transform tab in the inspector. Scale up to enlarge the rendered result. 2.5 looks good to me. Select the Image Plane 3D node. Press Ctrl or Shift Space to open the tool selection window. Find and add a Displace 3D node. In the inspector, change the channel to RGB. We will use the RGB channel of the input image to displace the ribbon image. Drag a background node from the toolbar to the editor. Connect to the Displace 3D node. Change the type to gradient. To transform the ribbon like this, we will need 6 control points along the line. As illustrated in this image, the orange line represents the flat ribbon, and the red line is our desired result. The gradient slider will be used to define these 6 points, and set with proper RGB values, which are used to indicate XYZ values in the 3D world. Since there will be no transformation along the Y-axis, the green values of all these points will be 0. From the left to right, the first point at position 0 is pulled in by 0.15 along the X-axis. So we set red to 0.15. Both green and blue are set to 0. The second point is at position 0.2, also shifted to the right by 0.15. We click on the slider to add a new point, change the position to 0.2, set red to 0.15, green and blue to 0. Click the slider to add the third point, set position to 0.25. This point is pulled back along the Z-axis by 0.15. So we set red and green to 0, blue to 0.15. Similarly, we set the next 3 points. They are symmetrical to the first 3 points. Number 4 at position 0.75, red and green are 0, and blue is 0.15. Number 5 at position 0.8, set red to minus 0.15, green and blue to 0. The last point at the end is also pulled inwards by 0.15, so we set the red to minus 0.15, green and blue to 0. Perfect, the ribbon is now transformed as expected. But the final result is not showing too much of the 3D effect, because the viewpoint is right in front of it. Select the Merge 3D node, go to the Transform tab, rotate a bit of the view angle. Set the rotation X to -15. Now it's better. But we have too much shine on the ribbon. Go to the 3D viewer, move the spotlight up further to reduce the shine. Also, the bending corners are too sharp for a ribbon. Select the background node, press the blur button in the toolbar to insert the blur node. Change the blur size in the inspector, but still not much help. Select the Image Plane 3D node, change the subdivisions to 100. Go back to the blur node, adjust the blur size, now it's changing the roundness of the bending corners. Another thing here is that the shadows are a bit rough. Select the Spotlight node, go to the inspector. In the Controls tab, open the Shadows section. Change the softness to constant. Adjust the constant softness to get a result we like. Also, the back of the ribbon is too dark. Select the Merge 3D node, press Ctrl or Shift Space, find and add an ambient light. Adjust the light intensity to get a good lighting result. Since we have two light sources for the environment, it feels a bit too bright overall. We can also reduce the intensity of the spotlight to achieve a balanced result. Alright, I think this looks good now. We often see a text ribbon with a bit of a curved shape, not straight like we are seeing now. Select the Displace node, press Ctrl Space, find and add a Bender 3D node. Make sure the bender type is set to bend. Change the axis to X. Change the amount to something around -0.15. Great, we now have a nice 3D text ribbon effect completed. To organize the node tree, we can also add an underlay box to group the 3D nodes. Rename it to Ribbon 3D Transform. Alright, we now have a 3D text ribbon ready. Next we will add the animation effect. To animate the ribbon text, insert a transform node after Merge 1. We will animate the center parameter to slide in the text ribbon, and hide the ribbon by sliding out at the end. Make sure the playhead is at the beginning of the clip, mark a keyframe for the center parameter. Change the X value until the ribbon is out of the screen from the left side, which is -0.5. Move to the end of the clip. Increase the X value, so that ribbon falls out of the right side of the screen, which sets the value to 1.5. This makes the ribbon coming into screen from the left, and disappears from the right. But there is no holding time, as we would expect for a title display. Go to the Modifiers tab. Right-click the displacement parameter, choose Insert Anim Curves. A new Anim Curves modifier is added. Change the source to duration. If we change the clip duration in the timeline, this modifier will automatically adjust timing of the animation to match the change. Set the curve to custom. I want to assign the first 20% of the duration for the reveal animation. So we click the line to add a control point, change the time to 0.2. And set the out value to 0.5, which is the middle of the animation, when the ribbon is fully displayed in the middle of the screen. Click the line to add another point at position 0.8. We will make the last 20% of the duration for the sliding out animation. Set the out value to 0.5, and we see a flat line in the middle. Which means during that time, the ribbon will not move and hold its position until it reaches the 80% point. Alright, play the clip. We have the animation working just like we defined in the curve. To smooth the animation, select the point in the mini-spline editor, press Shift-S to smooth the point, or drag the handle to adjust the curve. Be careful to keep the middle part absolutely flat, otherwise you may notice minor movements when it is played back. Great, we now have completed the fusion composition for a ribbon text effect. Finally, it's time to create a title macro template, so that we can reuse it in the edit page. When creating a macro, it's very important to export the right parameters we want to use in the inspector, and in the right display order. I have a video explaining the tricks of organizing the template parameters after a macro is created. You may want to have a look there. But most of the time, we don't need a very complicated parameter structure for macros. Showing the parameters in a proper order usually is good enough. To control how the parameters will appear in the inspector, we can select the nodes in a certain order, so that parameters from the nodes will appear in the same order as the node selection. In this case, we would like to see the text controls first, and followed by the ribbon color and border controls. So we select the text node first, and Control-click to select the ribbon shape node, border control and border color nodes. Holding the Shift key, drag the mouse to select all the other nodes except the media out. Right-click one of the selected nodes, choose Macro, Create Macro. In the Macro Editor window, type a new name for the macro. Essential Ribbon Title Tutorial. Check the parameters we want to export from the text node. And the color controls from ribbon shape, rename color to ribbon color. Check the thickness of the border control node, name it border thickness. Also add the color parameters from border color node. Rename color to border color. The default values here are the ones set in the current composition. You may change them to different ones. It is used when you reset the parameters in the inspector. The current value is used as the initial value when the template is loaded to the timeline. OK, we have now selected the parameters. Select Save as Group from the File menu. And save to the folder Fusion. Templates. Edit. Titles. Essential titles. If the folders are not available, we can simply create them manually as shown here. Close the macro editor, and go back to the edit page. Go to the Effects panel, open the Essential Titles page. The newly created macro is added and ready for use. Sometimes you may have to restart DaVinci Resolve to load the new effect into the panel. Drag the template to the timeline, and we can see the parameters are displayed in the order as we expected. This tutorial template is a simplified version, with only the basic parameter controls available. The advanced version of the ribbon title macro is available for download via links in the description, and it is called Essential Ribbon Title. There are a lot more controls you can use to adjust the ribbon styles. Added to the timeline, the parameters are grouped into 3 tabs. On the first tab, in addition to the standard text controls, we can also enable or disable the animation, or reverse the animation. The Ribbon tab allows us to select different ribbon styles. Instead of only a solid color, we can choose different color types for the ribbon color. If you don't need the border, you can set the border thickness to 0. Inside the Transform tab, there are many parameters we can use to adjust ribbon 3D styles. Change corner roundness. Disable 3D displacement. Rotate the ribbon. And resize the ribbon. We can also play with different bending types to get some really cool 3D ribbon styles. All these parameters are also animatable, so you can create your own animation effects with them. Alright, that's all for today. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.